I've been in school for just under 2,000 days and I've learned 5 critical lessons that revolutionized the way I act as a student. These lessons brought me from a lost and anxious middle schooler to a thriving student YouTuber, and it all started when I stopped watching Netflix and something happened that allowed me to kickstart my YouTube side hustle, and it changed my life. Choosing to stop watching Netflix wasn't even intentional. I just haven't been in the mood to watch shows anymore. However, last night I binged a show and it was the first time I'd watched Netflix in over 2 months, and it made me realize that it kills my productivity like nothing else. The reason? It becomes the only thing I want to do. So I realized I needed to stop watching Netflix to hack my brain for the motivation I need to keep grinding on this channel. But I mean, at the same time, let's be realistic. Yesterday I was burnt out from volunteering for 5 hours on a Friday night and I needed a gosh darn break. Alright, so... And that's totally justifiable. I've come to realize that you can do so much in 3 hours, and watching Netflix is a pretty terrible way to spend it. The second lesson I learned in my time as a student was about the power of routine. I read Atomic Habits last year, but never really implemented a lot of the strategies that James Clear said would revolutionize my life. However, I now use one of the best strategies in the book, habit stacking. It has turned me into an unstoppable productivity machine throughout the school week. Habit stacking is basically where you take a few important habits and you make a routine around them. Once you finish the first habit, it's a cue for you to do the next one, and so on and so forth. For example, my habit stack in the morning starts at 6:30 when I wake up. Then I usually see a comment on one of my YouTube videos and I end up checking my YouTube analytics. Then I go and I brush my teeth. After that, I go and take my shower, shave, eat some breakfast, maybe some eggs, and hit the road. And it's the same thing when I come home from school. I drop off my backpack and immediately go on a run with my dog before I lose the motivation. Then I settle down with a bowl of Cheerios while working on YouTube or doing homework. Typically at night I have another habit stack, and that's when I work on YouTube or homework until 9:40 p.m. when I strictly tell myself it's time to stop and I read one of my books. Right now I'm reading What is the What and The Snowball Effect. Yeah, The Snowball Effect. It's like a bibliography. It's kind of about business and that kind of stuff, and my family's like not really into business, so it's my way of kind of getting into that separately, you know? Typically after that, I journal, brush my teeth, set my alarm, and hit the sack before repeating the process the next day. It's never perfect, but I found that making a strict time to do each thing you really want to do is helpful, because sometimes you just don't have the motivation to do those things in the moment. This is how I improve by 1% every single day as a student. I love being happy, and I've come to realize that the more I sleep, the happier I am, so the logical conclusion is to sleep more. I have implemented a bedtime into my routine, and is part of my habit stack, which keeps me accountable. It creates a pattern every single day. I bumped my knee. Eventually, you might not even need to set an alarm because your body is literally going to wake up by itself at the same time. Also, sleeping more boosts your memory, and basically sleep does all of this. So I make sure to get at least 8 hours, but my secret is actually to get like 9. People always tell us that we only need 8 hours of sleep, and somebody's going to be arguing down there that you could be grinding for 2 extra hours if you cut that to 6 a night. We probably need even more than 8 to be fully productive. So I want you to go get 9 or 10 on a school night, come back to me, and I don't think you'll be complaining about anything. The biggest problem I've experienced with going to bed around 10 every night is how little game you get in the evenings, and bedtime basically kills your success with girls. I know I'm going to sound like an absolute douche for telling you not to jump into relationships in high school, but I'm not the only one saying this.
Don't date. I never dated in high school, and I'm actually so happy I didn't.
Maybe it's just my personal bad experience with high school relationships, but I feel that there are so many better ways to spend your time. Relationships just, they take so much effort and energy and just mental like awareness of what's going on, and it's a practice makes perfect kind of thing. And I'm just sick and tired of just these trivial relationships that don't really mean much to me, and it's just not worth the heartbreak. So I kind of went off script there a little bit, but and I'm totally not against learning the ropes of what it's like to commit to someone and what that all entails, but I've felt a little bit forced by this culture of having to get a girlfriend, and I just really want to try to make some friends with girls before jumping into a relationship with them. It's as if like the only thing we're after is a relationship, and I just really don't like that. As always, I'm chasing the real meaning in the things I do, not just cheap instant gratification, which actually leads nicely to my next point. Over this last year, I've found satisfaction doing meaningful work outside of class. I know that people find meaning in all kinds of work, from internships to part-time jobs, but I can't really speak for those since I've never done them. However, I know from experience that starting a YouTube channel makes you feel like a god. Putting in 20 hours of planning, recording, and editing into a video, then watching it blow up is a feeling relatively few people can relate to, and it is awesome. It's a similar thing when I'm volunteering. It's this feeling of pride that you're doing something that's bigger than yourself, and it's something that might benefit you in your future, and it's just way more meaningful than just doing school. Especially when you're inundated with busy work and simply just fed up with school, it's great to have a different type of work to escape to. But there is one last lesson I learned in my 12 years as a high school student, so if you want to find out what that is, then watch this video next. Cheers.